So yeah, can you tell me
Okay.
when did you start your first martial art? I think it was judo, but I'm not sure. And
Yeah, I start in judo. I was like 4 or 5 years old. Yeah.
all right, it was in Brasilia, right?
It was in Brasilia, my city. I start in judo because my mother say I have too much. I had too much energy, like always running, playing. And she say, "I'm gonna put you in judo and you focus that energy on something." So I start to have judo classes, and it was great.
You liked it right away?
What? Yeah, right away, because the way they they used to teach the class was very good, because a lot of like play, they play a lot, like games, they play games a lot, and I was very competitive. I always have been competitive, so I always try to winning the games, the match, the practices. So I think is the most important thing to a fighter is have that competition, like mindset. So since I remember, I was competitive, and judo, I find it.
It's great. Yeah, and combat sport is great to develop that mindset also, obviously, because you're on your own. It's not like a team sport. It's
Yeah,
really on
yeah,
you.
yeah. I never was good in team sports,
You didn't play
because
football? No football?
yeah, I used to play like in recreation in the school, but I didn't like, because I have to, because if someone like lose or miss the goal, they say, it's your fault, everybody is blame each other, and I don't like that. I like to go there and take care myself of the business.
Yeah, it's on you if you lose or if you win. Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. If I lose or I win, it's my fault.
it's true. Yeah. And so from judo, how did you move to kickboxing later, maybe?
No. What happened is I was living in Brasilia, and I did like I think 1 or 2 years of judo, and I remember I get the gray belt, the first belt
Mhm.
for kids in judo, and I was, and the next year I wanted so bad to get the blue one, like the next, but my master at the time didn't let me like pass, for the belt, and I was very angry about it, and I was very angry, and I was trying to beat the other kids who
Wear blue belt. Yeah.
who wear blue belts, yeah, to prove myself. And like my mother take me off of judo because I was getting like angry about not getting the belt. So I stopped and I did some competitions. I did well on judo, but I stopped it, and because this judo was like a school program too, like
Oh, I see.
for like in the morning you like math and science and stuff, and afternoon we did some like recreation stuff like judo, and you can choose. But my mother moved me off that school, so I stopped judo. And several years after, we moved to Rio de Janeiro. So in 2000 we moved to Rio de Janeiro, and I was like
11?
11, yeah, about 11. And in my class, in my room class, uh, uh, a lot of like young boys was starting jiu-jitsu, and they are telling my colleagues, and they are telling like this is great, like, and saying like street fights, and at the time a lot of street fights in Rio de Janeiro, and the people who know jiu-jitsu, they are doing better, on the street fight. And I start to think, maybe I'm gonna try this. And I start to do jiu-jitsu in 2000, and did like 2000 and I was in 2001 I was national champion, like in the yellow belt, and I did a couple more competitions like in 2001, 2002. But my mother come back to Brasilia, our hometown, and I stopped jiu-jitsu a couple years, and I start back when I was like 15. I started back in jiu-jitsu, and I didn't until this day I don't stop it. So I until I am 18, I was doing jiu-jitsu, and I start to do boxing too, because they put some boxing coach in my old gym, like Tuesday and Thursday, and I start to do boxing, and I love it boxing, you know. Since I always want to do striking, but my mother didn't like striking. She said, "No, I want you to do judo." And when I say jiu-jitsu, she didn't like, because judo, like they see like samurai, like respect, discipline, and jiu-jitsu, she didn't like in the first, but soon I start to do, she like, she felt all the energy and the focus I put in the training, so she liked it. But when I say I'm gonna start to do striking, she no, I don't want you striking, get punched in the head and stuff. But the boxing classes are Tuesday and Thursday, so she didn't know if I was doing jiu-jitsu or boxing. So I did a couple years of boxing. Okay. And after I started in MMA, because in my old gym in Brasilia, we have like a couple of really good fighters like Paulo Thiago and Hani Arya and another. Like, and my jiu-jitsu coach who used to fight Vale Tudo, not MMA. So they had a training after the jiu-jitsu. They did like MMA training, like Vale Tudo and MMA training, and I start to do, and I like it so much, and I started to training, and I training like a couple of years without competing, you know. And they keep saying to me, you have to compete, and one day, like we had that opportunity in the biggest organization in Brazil at the time, Jungle Fight.
For sure.
Jungle Fight, and I fought there my first time against a really good fighter, and I beat him. Like I finished him in the third. Like
submission, right?
Submission, yeah. So at that point, I start to dedicate myself completely in martial arts, almost complete, because I was doing like university, college. Yeah. I was doing college and training MMA. So until my 55, I stopped college and dedicate myself.
Okay. So actually, I was surprised when I checked on your resume that you fought at Jungle Fight right away, because for the people who doesn't know, like in Brazil, there's like Jungle Fight and Chuto Brazil. They're like the two big promotion. And so you made your professional debut in this big promotion.
In this big promotion, yeah. And because I was very good at training. Like since I was like 11, 12, 13, I started in jiu-jitsu, and everybody said, this guy's gonna be a world champion. This guy's gonna be. So they are putting hype on me since I was a kid. You know, my coaches and everybody who know me. So soon I start to train MMA. They say, you have to compete in a big stage. You know, you are ready. And I tried to fight in a couple local shows in Brasilia, but the people didn't want to fight me. One time, I did the weight, I go to the fight, but like 30 minutes to fight, the guy refused. He said, I'm hurt, because he saw me hitting pads, you know, preparing, and he said, I'm not gonna fight with this guy.
Not this guy.
Yeah, not this guy, you know, because since I was a kid, I was training very hard. soon I start to training. I always train like a professional, always. So in my debut in Jungle Fight, I was really ready to fight in a big show, and that's what I did. I did like eight fights in Jungle Fight until go to the UFC.
Yeah, actually, I was because when I did a lot of interviews with Brazilian fighters from ATT, like Pedro Munoz and some others from other gym. And when I checked, almost all of them did Jungle Fight before jumping to the UFC. But you did a lot of them actually, because often they get 2-3 fights and then they move. And you're probably the one that I know that has the most fights in Jungle Fight. But so when you start in the UFC, you took on short notice, right? 2 weeks, the fights, your UFC debut?
Yeah.
And it was in Brazil, right?
It was in Brazil, because back in the day, the only way to get in the UFC was being on Jungle Fight or being on Shoto. But Shoto is more for people who train in Nova União, the José Aldo gym. So we know like the Valide Ismail, who runs the Jungle Fight. He was manager of Paulo Thiago, and I trained with him. So they put me on the show. They say this kid will be very good, so put him on the show. But in my first 5 fights, I fought the best of Brazil. I fought the best. In my second fight, I fought like the first fight I had in Jungle Fight in Kahir. I fought the Alexandre Almeida. And he was like after that he was WSOF champion.
Oh wow!
He had like a lot of experience. He was world champion in jiu-jitsu, and all the opponents I beat on Jungle Fight was like the best of Brazil in that division. But I had only 5 fights. So they say you cannot go to the UFC with 5 fights, and we are trying to put you, but they don't wanna. So I keep fighting on Jungle Fight until I think was Ronnie Jason. He got injured, so I stepped up to fight with a Finland guy. So it was very good to me, and I just love martial arts, and I love UFC.
Yeah, I have a question because you mentioned the boxing and jiu-jitsu and judo. When did you start kicking and learning kickboxing? Only when you started MMA training?
Yeah.
Wow. This is crazy because you're like probably one of the top 5 best kicker there is in the UFC right now. And so you developed that super well.
Yeah. Because I start to train Muay Thai, like kickboxing. Soon I start to train MMA because I move like in the second time when we moved back to Brasilia, we did training like in garage, because close to my home had a gym, like I had a fighter, my master, and he had a mat on his house, and he built up a dojo, but was not a professional one. So we trained like couple years that boxing and that jiu-jitsu, like in a small gym, and after we go to the big gym, like to the master of my master gym. So there I start to train MMA, and a kickboxing coach say, hey, you did kickboxing before? And I say, no, boxing. And he say, so go train with me. And I trained in 9 months of kickboxing, and he put me to fight like a kickboxing championship, and I won. And he said, no, now you're ready to MMA. So I did a couple of amateur kickboxing to start on MMA.
Okay, yeah, it's great then. And when you were like teenager or younger, did you watch fighting, or did you watch like boxing, kickboxing, or were you just doing the sport?
No, I didn't watch fight at all. you know. I used to didn't care about fight, you know, because like I am from Haniaha school. Do you know Haniaha is like a ADCC champion? He's really good. And I remember when he was like 20, 21, very good. And he used to they used to put all the guys in the gym and he tapped them like in 30 seconds, everybody. So the training for a DCC for him, he do like a big like a circle of people and they are jumping in and he tapped in 30 seconds and like for 1 hour training like that.
Wow.
And I start to think, wow, that guy is the best fighter in the world, you know? So I didn't care about boxing or kickboxing. Because in my head, like if you are Brazilian world, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion, you are the best fighter in the world. So I dedicate myself on Jiu-Jitsu. But one day I saw Honey fighting with Fredson Paixão, another Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, in Jungle Fight 2.
Okay.
Like I was a teenager at the time, and I see like Honey couldn't put the guy on the ground, and the guy beat him so bad on the feet, and I was like shocking about that because I was thinking he was like the best fighter in the world, and because of that I started watching fights because back in the day I just training jiu-jitsu, you know. I didn't watch in boxing, kickboxing, or even MMA because I thought if you are Brazilian jiu-jitsu world champion, you are the best. But it's not like that in MMA.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, it's a great subject because there's a lot of great jiu-jitsu fighters that unfortunately doesn't have great wrestling or judo, and are forced to fight on the feet, and where so they cannot go where they are the best. So you don't have that problem because people they are so scared of striking with you anyway that they're gonna shoot on you. And so actually I was gonna come to your second fight in the UFC, but against Zubaira.
Yeah.
And there's 15 months between both fights. Your first fight, did you get injured?
Yeah, I tear up my ligaments of the knee, and like was a longer recovery. I did like 9 months of physiotherapy to start back in training. So I fucked my knee pretty well. So that's why I had that time to heal up.
Yeah, actually it was at UFC 198, which was a big card in Brazil.
Yeah. Was the first fight of the evening.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You were the first fight. And I think this victory, people, they forget about it because Zubaira, I think he got suspended and didn't fight for a while. But he's a good fighter. It was a tough fight.
Yeah, and he was like a good fighter, but like you say, he was he didn't pass the USADA test, you know. So they suspended him for anabolic or stuff like that, you know. So that's not good, man. I don't like that, you know.
I saw that you passed your 25th test with USADA recently, right?
What?
I saw that USADA, they tested you 25 times last week, and that you had like, I saw it.
Yeah, 25, actually, I just saw that, you know, like last week they say, you got 25 tests. That's good. I'm not counting.
And so I like the fight with Zubaira because to me that's the first time I saw you fight when I watched this one, and I remember that what I love about fighters is when they are able to make adjustment during the fight. I remember that he started the first one very aggressive, Zubaira, pressuring you, using those shift and being unpredictable, and you tried to counter him. But you missed often because he was always feinting a lot before. So what you did in the second one is to pressure him. Yeah. And you pressure him so well using front kick, your jab to keep him at bay, that he started to become predictable. Yeah. And then you counter him in the pocket. So can you talk about how did you realize that you need to be the one moving forward in that fight?
Yeah, to be sincere, to be fair, I was nothing trying to adjust. I was trying to take his head off. You know, I was pressuring him because I was feeling like he put so much pressure on me on the first round, and I was too much used to get like the reach and keep the distance. And then when he like did the shift and the punches, I felt like I couldn't find him. So my coach say, hey, now you have to go, you have to fight. And I just pressure him because in some point I feel like he was getting tired to running, and that's why I keep pressuring him. And in the third round, I felt him like putting his arm against the head and saying, now is the time to go forward. And it was I did.
Yeah, I remember actually, because you started round number 2, almost running at him and landing a big 1-2, and I was like, oh, the difference between 1-1 and 2. And he has a difficult style to adjust at first, for sure, with that side stance. And so you kicked his leg a lot, but he kept coming. And and I think in that fight I realized that because you're tall, and people, they often think that people that are strong, they need to be more like short, but you are actually stronger than him in a lot of exchange.
Yeah, because like I say, I know he was like a very good wrestler and very sambo player, and I watched like a couple of his training, and the way he trained, he was like explosive and fast, and putting like the videos like running and doing like conditioning. But like with my link, you know, it's very hard to put me on the ground. Like if you analyze my fights, it's really hard to put me on the ground. So I love to fight wrestlers, you know, I love to fight wrestlers. Like you say, if they try to take me down, I can take advantage of it. So yeah, it was a really good fight for me. It was a really tough fight because like a Russian guy, like and was like too much pressure because he has like a ton of followers, and the Russian people are very tight, you know. So it was the first time they go to my page on social media and say a lot of shit. Like they keep it through the fight week into the month, into all month. They treating to like send message to me, and and it was good because I always want to be in that place, you know. I always want to be in UFC. People say stuff to me. So I love all the process, and it was a very good fight for me because in that day I was only training in Brazil. So I was training like a really small gym, like a lot of good people, but not the way I am training now. So I see like a big victory for me.
Is it after that fight that you moved to Florida?
No, I moved to Florida after my first loss. You know, after Ortega fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before Ortega,
that's why when I realized that.
So before Ortega, for your only third fight in the UFC, you fought like a big veteran, almost a contender, Jeremy Stephens.
Yeah.
And so that fight that you had, to me, was a masterclass in wingcraft, because and that was impressed me a lot, because when I watched you against Zubaira, I knew you could pressure well, but I was like, maybe Renato, he has struggled when he's on the back foot.
Yeah.
And in Jeremy Stephens, he was the opposite.
Yeah.
You played the Matador, he was the bull.
Yeah.
And you did so well. Is it, of course, it was a good matchup for you to play on the back foot. And there's a lot of things that you did on the back foot that I loved, like using the inside leg kick when he was using that jab to sweep off, using the outside leg kick to set up your attacks, and to play with rhythm a lot. Like you will circle for like 30 seconds, explode, and do it again. And did you realize that Jeremy will get frustrated very early in the fight?
Yeah, because like I say, all my opponents, I like to watch them like a lot. I like to watch them interviews. I like to study and to feel the way they handle pressure or handle. And I was seeing like Jeremy Stephens, when he don't hit you, he get very frustrated and he exposes himself for takedowns and for counters. And that's what we saw in his last fights, you know, against Qatar and against a couple other guys. He gets so mad and he want to punch you so hard, and he exposing himself. So that's what I see in the first round. He was so frustrated, so angry, and as soon as the second round started, he tried to take me down and he couldn't get, and he was like mad. He was really mad, and I took advantage of it.
Yeah, to me, it's like I was super impressed. Like I was like, this guy, he understands everything about this specific matchup. So of course, Jeremy, he has problem cutting the cage too. He's more like following his opponent than cutting the cage.
Yeah.
So he did something that were kind of like too easy to read. Like at some point, he switched stance because his only hope was to catch you with hook.
Yeah.
When you would circle left and right, and so you would play with that to set up counter attacks. And Jeremy is very hard, he's powerful, but he's extremely readable, predictable.
Yeah.
And but you did some stuff that I loved a lot in that fight, was that you were always where you wanted to be in the ring, in the cage.
Yeah.
Like for example, you know, when he will pressure you, I think it's in 1-2, he saw like a body kick, and you catch, you grab his heel, and turn around to reverse the position. And I was like, this must drive him so mad. Because that's exactly.
I have like that gif, like when I take his leg and go to the center of the octagon.
Because I think this is actually a skill, not a skill, but like more like an understanding that a lot of people in MMA doesn't have.
Yeah.
To know where you to be in the ring every time.
Yeah.
And like you never want it to be with your fence against in your back.
Yeah.
So, and so, what I love about that fight, like the Zubaira fight, is that you start by winning the first one, staying far away.
Yeah.
And then 1-2, you start to hurt him. And 1-3, it's almost a beating. Like you always go, you know, you never decrease in the fight. You always start kind of like cool. And then when you start finish hard, you always finish very hard.
But that's my problem. And that's what I changed in my last fight. Because I don't like to take risks, you know, and I like to play safe in the first. But in my last 2 defeats, the guys come like forward, like Jose Aldo and Zombie, because they understand that, and they say, no, he start too slow. I'm gonna go fast, and I go forward, and that's why I adjust. In my last fight, I was like really ready to put him on the ground, you know. So I try to adjust myself to all situations, and the positional system. And right now I am 155. I feel like much healthier, and I think I gonna do like great stuff in 55, because I felt like the best shape of my life in techniques too, because think about, I took Jeremy down, but I never trained wrestling. You know, I never trained wrestling. I didn't know how to take it down until I got here in ATT. And right now I'm working a lot of wrestling. Like every day I'm working wrestling, because was the gap, you know, was missing, the gap missing. Because since I was a kid, I trained grappling. I started like 10 years ago, 12 years ago to boxing, but I was missing wrestling. And not only the techniques, but the mindset of wrestling. I start to understand. I want to be like I want to be in the 55, the best I can be. You know, I think I'm gonna do great on that division.
I believe you, man. I believe you.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of great training partners at ATT. Like when I see, you know, like my favorite fighters in MMA, it's Jorge Masvidal, your teammate.
Yeah.
I watch him since I started watching like 10 years ago. And when he started, he was always like very good everywhere. But he would start his fight very slow also.
Yeah.
He lost a ton of decision just because he was so good that he never felt in danger. And it was always when he was in danger that he woke up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he adjusts also. And
because like you said, I feel like when I get into the fight, I am almost unstoppable. You know, when I get the reach, when I read the like Qatar, it's a very, very hard guy to fight because he has like a great takedown defense, a great jab. He's a great counter puncher. But soon in the first round, he almost got me. But the moment I read the ring, like Jeremy Stephen, like all the others, there is no way to stop me. You know, that's why I think I'm gonna be champion. Like in because like you say, I start slow, but second, 30, and the fourth and the fifth are gonna be great. You know, are gonna be great in the latest rounds. That's what I think.
Because every time you mentioned Calvin Kattar, who's an amazing fighter. I love him a lot. He's probably one of the best boxer, pure boxing mechanics, at least in the UFC. And well, he has like a weakness, if I can say weakness, that is susceptible to kicks. And you are pretty good at kicking, so well. But even when you start the first round and that you got your leg kicks going on, your jab, it gets you comfortable to go in the pocket with him, setting up kicks for your punches and you're punching for kicks. And you did so many great stuff in the pocket, and I was surprised. I was like, wow, Renato is willing to fight in the pocket with Calvin because, as you said, once you get going, you feel unstoppable, like flawless. Like you keep flowing all the time. And it's very watchable when you watch fights. Say, okay, now he's in, and he's not gonna stop.
Like I feel like the way Max used to fight the same way, because he was keeping the reach, reading the guy. Once we read the guy, it's very hard to stop. But like you say in the first fight, the shift in movement are in like getting too hard to stay outside, because now like Volkanovski, everybody do the shift and get it very, very hard to predict it.
Actually, what Volkanovski did that was very smart in the first fight against Holloway was that he shifted, to punch the body and the head, but he also used the first step to throw the outside leg kick. So I feel Max never knew if it was a kick that was coming or if it was like a bleed. He used, the outside lead position to pretend he was going to shift just to bait Max into counters. And so I feel that's the difference between the two fights. Was like in the first one, it was Volkanovski that was baiting Max into his game. And in the rematch that happened last Saturday, it was more even. Like it was more like 50-50.
And what do you think? Do you think Max Holloway won?
So I scored the fight for Max 48-47. I think I gave him the first two and number 4. And but I don't think it's a robbery. I feel like it was very, very close.
Yeah, very close.
They are both excellent fighters. They're so smart.
And what do you think about the Masvidal fight? What do you think he did wrong?
I don't think he did necessarily something wrong. I just think Kamaru is just very, very good too. And there's like the short notice. One thing I think Jorge did, he said he could only do that. He could only explode. You know what I mean? He could only like burst, reset. And I feel Jorge is a bit like you also. Once he starts getting his timing and everything, and he can go on. But what I feel also with Jorge was a problem for him. It's not the lack of skills. It's more like he doesn't care where he is in the ring. Like he accepts to be against the fence because he's good at it. So he's confident that he can stay, but he doesn't spend enough minutes of the fight in the position he should be. Otherwise, skill-wise, he's amazing. People, they always think he cannot grapple. He's a great, great grappler. But I think with a full camp, with Mike Brown with him, he could do better. I don't know if he can beat Kamaru, but he has a good reason to believe he can.
No, I agree 100%. I think like 6-day notice is too. He can
traveling to Abu Dhabi is very tough also.
He was training, but soon they canceled the fight. He stopped to come the gym. He was just to helping another. I was watching him helping Luis Pena and another guys, but he was not like focused on that fight.
Not fight champ.
And I think that the main reason of he get so much in the fence, he was tired, So maybe with a like really good training camp with sprints and working on his cardio, he did great against the takedown defense and stand up.
And and Kamaru is very, very good in the clinch.
Yeah.
And I felt that Jorge did very well in the clinch also. Yeah. Like I'm not saying that Jorge cannot do it. I think he's my favorite fighter, so of course I believe he can do it. But I think it's just that the only thing I could find to criticize would be that he's too willing to exchange in grappling, where he should just shut it down, punish him, go back to the center of the ring and start over.
Exactly. I think he did that because he was tired.
Yeah,
he was fighting the hand and go to the center of the octagon,
and Kamaru is heavy. Kamaru is very strong. He has great cardio too. He lost to a great opponent. You have to give credit to Osman. But he said that after 2 rounds, his legs were already numb, like he could barely. So of course it doesn't help with the footwork, but But so let's talk about 155 for you, because so I wrote an article on you when you just before your fight with Adzovic.
Yeah.
And I remember that in pre-interview you said that Mike Brown wanted you to fight up in lightweight for like a few years, but you weren't too sure. You wanted to stay at featherweight. And I was like, I don't know. I would like you to stay at lightweight. I think it would be better for Moicano. And now that you did your first fight at lightweight, what do you think? You think you still want to go both of them, or do you want to give a shot to lightweight?
No, I like my next fight gonna be in the lightweight because I was not thinking about leaving the featherweight because I was ranked,
Of course.
At the time I was ranked like number 7 when I did, but soon as I up the division,
they lose the ranking.
The ranking. So I don't have business anymore in the featherweight because it's too hard to make the weight. If they give me a fight against like Zombie or against Brian Ortega or a top 5 opponent, I can make the weight, but I'm not gonna be healthy as I am in the 155 for sure.
Yeah, because MMA media and fans sometimes they are a bit close to conclusion, and once you lost to Jose and Zombie, they start saying, maybe Renato he cannot take a punch, maybe his body is weak, and I was like, maybe just the body suffers a lot from the weight cut. So the body shots from especially Jose Aldo that takes a lot of you, and but like losing to Zombie early, it happens to a lot of people. Like a lot of people are gonna lose early against him. And I felt you had addressed that. You just started too slow, and against someone like this.
But you know what? The Zombie was worse than Jose Aldo because the weight cut was so hard. Because in Jose Aldo fight, I was ready. I was on the weight. I don't have like any excuse because I was supposed to be the alternative for Max Holloway and Ortega.
At 231,
and I didn't make the weight. So
I remember.
So 1 week after, they call me and they say, you're gonna fight Jose Aldo. So I stayed my weight low, So I had 1 month to make the weight. So my weight was low. Everything was good, but I can say to you, I was not eating too much to make the 145. But after I lost to Jose Aldo, I was eating so much, and my weight was like almost 188, almost 190. So I was eating because I was frustrated, I was very, very sad about getting my first knockout, and I was like I felt so much to be in the camp all year in 145. So my body was crazy. So when I had the Zombie fight, I had to train like three sessions a day to
make the weight,
to cut the weight, and I was I think was the worst. That one and the Kirby fight. The Kirby fight, I was very I almost didn't make the weight, you know. I almost, and I just make the weight because the guys of Lockhart Nutrition, they helped me. Yeah, they have, because I had give it up, and they say, no, you're gonna make the weight. But the zombie, I was like very, very bad, and I put so much liquid, like man, it was crazy, because I make the weight and I start to drink a lot of
too much
products,
maybe
a lot of stuff they give to me, and man, I in couple hours I put like 10 kilos, like 50 pounds of liquid, you know, and I start to eat the food, and my weight was like very up. And the day of the fight, I felt really tired. I never felt like that in my life, because to make the weight was so like hard. In that day, I didn't want to fight, you know, because I was so tired. I didn't want. I did want to sleep in that day, because the weight cut is so brutal, so hard. I was, and after that fight, I say I cannot be 145 anymore, because, but still I was still ranked, so I was still thinking about.
Of
but
course,
right now,
it makes sense for sure.
And right now, the way I train at the gym, the way I feel, the way, hey, changed my life to don't have to make that weight, you know, because I have like 5'11". I'm tall, so I can make I can do good on fifth fight.
Well, you're still one of the tallest and biggest lightweight. Even moving up from featherweight, you're still one of the biggest one there. And and actually, what made me feel that you will be better at lightweight was what we mentioned before, that you were strong naturally. Not only you are tall, you are long, but you are strong in the clinch and the wrestling. So I was like, hey, he's not going to get just bullied by a bigger guy. He will be, and so, but what I was surprised though, when you move up to lightweight, I was like, oh, great. And I thought you were going to fight like, I don't know, Alia Quinta, Dan Hooker. And I know Damir Radzovic was, but I was like, why is Renato fighting so low in the rankings? So I guess he's the only one who wanted to fight you, maybe?
I don't know. I really don't know, because I always, like I say, since the beginning of my career, I always asked to fight the best guys in the world, you know, and that's what I'm planning to do. But it's not up to me, you know. UFC decides, and I don't refuse fights too, you know. I don't refuse fight too. If they say Hadzovic, I'm okay. Will be a good test. I respect him as a fighter, but I truly believe he's not on my level, you know, in UFC, because he didn't face the same level of competition. Yeah, the level of competition I had, and I feel very, very motivated in this division, and I want to fight the best, you know. I want to fight the best, and to prove myself, I want to fight like the best guys, you know. I know some guys the people don't want to face, and I want to make statements, you know. Like I know Gillespie, the people don't want to fight Gillespie, you know, or there's wrestling guys, you know, a lot of wrestling guys that people avoid, and I want that fight, and I want to show, because was like in the Jeremy Stephen fight, they put me in to lose to Jeremy Stephen. Hello.
Hi.
How are you? The battery of my cell phone died.
No problem. No worries.
Nice.
I figured that. So yeah, you were saying that they wanted to set you up when you fought Jeremy Stevens.
Because like I had only 2 fights in UFC and like 9 fights on career, but they put me against the Jeremy Stephens, and I want to do the same in lightweight. I have 1 fight in lightweight, and I want to fight a top guy, top 10, doesn't matter, you know.
Yeah,
but but if they don't get me like a ranked opponent, doesn't matter too. I'm gonna climb my way to the top.
Yeah, of course, yeah. But I was very surprised by this, because I was like, why isn't Moicano getting like top 10, top 15 guy to start with? And yeah, like I feel you're probably gonna get like an Islam Makhachev or like someone like 10, 15 before having, because me, I would like you to fight Ali Aquinta.
Yeah, that's
because I
what I'm
think
calling.
he's ranked very high.
Yeah.
And he's a good matchup for you.
Yeah.
And he's a name. He's a name. People know him.
Yeah. Yeah. He fought for the belt, you know.
Yeah.
And Paul Felder also, you know, that's why I call Paul Felder out, because I think he's like a really good guy, really good, like striking guy, powerful guy. But like I fight good with powerful guys, you know, like with striking guys, wrestler guys, doesn't matter, you know. In that weight class, I feel like I'm gonna do good.
I love the Paul Felder ID. It's just that I'm not sure he's gonna fight again. That's the only thing. That's why I'm not sure.
Yeah, but that's why our Quinta, I think he don't accept the fight too, because like I say, it's very hard. I understand, because I'm not ranked and I'm not too popular, you know. That's why I didn't get like a ranked opponents, because if I was really popular and like the people will put that fight, you know. That's why because I don't care about these, you know. I just care about try to be champion, you know. Try to be champion. I don't care about money. I just care about to have my opportunity to become a champion, and I think that's why the sport are about, you know.
But you know, it's of course, and also what you say about popularity, it goes fast, you know. You just need one fight, one good fight, and you'll be back on. Because
and that's the beauty of the sport. Some people say, if you lose one time, the people get mad at you, say names and stuff, and I say, but if you win two, they love you, you know. That's the good of MMA. If you lose, the people will shit at you, but if you won, they will love you. So it really depends on your point of view, you know, where you're looking for. And I always looking for the bright side.
Because of course, and that remind me of your workout song, the Bob Marley song, Positive Vibration. I wanted to ask you, why is it your workout song?
No, you know what? I don't have a workout song. Like every time I use a different one, you know, every time I use it. But usually like Bob Marley and reggae, because I don't know, I just love the reggae, you know, I just love
it's a good
music.
Song.
Yeah. and I feel like I use the music like the message I want to share. The message I want to share, you know. Every music I try to select carefully about the moment I'm living and the moment I will live in the ring, you know. So depend on the opponent. Because I like to hear the music through all the camp, to get used to think about the guy, to think about what I have to do, and against some opponent is like that, because it's like a reminder of what the guy does best, you know. So if the guy has powerful, I put some music like about take care about this. And I was walking to the cage, I heard and I remember, and like it's trying to work on my conscience, you know. So that's why I use reggae, because there is a message behind the song, you know. That's why.
That's great. Looking forward to the next song that we'll see when you fight next time. But I think also based on your popularity, just also as you change weight class, because you were one of the big name in featherweight, as you fought Jose Aldo, Zombie, Calvin Kattar, Jeremy Stevens, and Adzovic. Compared to those names, I don't want to disrespect him. He's a good fighter, but he's obviously below. Like, to me, Jose Aldo is the greatest of all time. So I was like, you're fighting the top of the top. And by the way, Calvin Kattar is fighting tomorrow or tonight. I forgot, but
tomorrow, I think.
What did you think about that matchup against Dan Higger?
I think it's a good matchup for Qatar, you know, because they are two boxers, but Qatar is tall and Qatar is more technical. But Iggy has power in his hand, and he defeats some good guys, you know. But I think Barbosa won the last fight, you know. But I think Qatar gonna beat him. I don't know how. I don't know which round. I don't know if by TKO or decision. But I think Qatar is better on the boxing, and boxing is the best weapon of Iggy. So I go with Qatar this time.
And also, even though Danny has good wrestling, Qatar's takedown defense looks super solid when he fought Zabit. So
yeah,
I don't think he's gonna be in problem here. I have
No.
Calvin winning probably late TKO because Iggy is very tough.
Yeah.
But I would say 1-4, maybe TKO or something like that. But
Yeah.
And about your weight class now.
Yeah.
So Khabib is gonna fight Gaethje
Yeah.
probably in September, October, in the soon. So what do you think about that matchup? Do you think about it a little bit? What do you see it going?
It's hard. It's hard bet against Khabib. You know, it's it's hard bet against him because he is a really dominant champion, and he do very well. He's great at what he do, but I think Gaethje is the most likely guy to beat him because of the matchup. He's like a really good wrestler, but don't use it. And he is a really wild guy, like to bang and brawl, but he was way more like a conscience in the last fight. He was way more technical in Tony fight, but I read a statement of Gaethje saying he doesn't wrestle because take too much energy of him, you know, and this is get me concerned about his fight against Khabib, because how you say something like that if you're gonna face Khabib, you know? I think maybe can be like he's playing Khabib, you know, because if you're gonna fight a wrestler guy who doesn't get tired, like, and who is very top level wrestling and ground and pound, why would you say something like that, you know? So maybe he's playing Khabib, maybe he's like trying to deceive, but let's see. I cannot bet against Khabib, but I think he has like a really good chance to beat him.
Yeah, I think he has a very good coach. Justin Trevor Whitman is very good with him. It seems to work. Because my only problem that I had with Gaethje was when he gets tired, he gets very, very sloppy.
Yeah.
And if he fixes that, I think it's a good matchup because I need to see someone pressure Khabib and make him be on the footwork, go to the body, and see what happens there. But yeah, I'm afraid that Gaethje may do very well early, like very, very good, almost finishing Khabib and just gassing up. That's my only concern. But if he doesn't, I think I will pick Gaethje. But it's tough to pick against Khabib until he doesn't lose, until he loses.
Yeah. But you are saying he has like a good coach, right?
Great coach, yeah.
What does it take to be a good coach? What do you think?
Well, I think
a person good coach.
The thing is that Trevor Whitman, he understood Gaethje very well. They are both there, and like Gaethje accept that like Whitman is the brain and he's the body.
Yeah.
So he takes.
So you saw the podcast of Joe Rogan, right?
No, I didn't. Is what he said?
He was saying like that. He was saying like that. Like this is the smart guy. He do all the shit. I just go in and do.
Because Justin, he has that quality to be like a dog, to be incredibly tough. And I think not having to think too much about what you have to do, but giving that to someone else is giving me more free. It's more free for this. And also, I say that more because in the corner, Whitman is always telling him, stay focused, you know, like, because as soon as Gaethje start to win, he start to have too much fun. And then, every time you get fun, you get stopped. So stay composed.
Hey, he
said
the same thing on Joe Rogan podcast.
Well, that's great then. And also is the difference in this game mostly that makes, because he used to always move forward and throw a lot of shots, but his shot selection was very bad. And now at least he pick his shot. He doesn't throw as much, but every shot that he does is set up very well. Like he will throw the right hand to throw the left hand. You know what I mean. And and I like that he realized that he has a lot of power and doesn't need to throw 100 strikes per round. Like he can just pick his shot like he did against Edson or like James Vick. And I think that's also he also does that because he realized that by fighting like crazy, he's gonna gas that every time. So
and he's gonna lose sometimes. You're gonna win some and lose some if you fight like that. You cannot be a champion like that.
And I think Justin, because he's very humble, is very open to criticism. And Trevor Whitman seems to be like a good person that cares for him, but not afraid to tell him what he does well and wrong. And I think that's the most important. I think there's a lot of people that refuse to be acknowledged criticism, like real criticism, not hating, like real stuff that doesn't work. Like I'm not going to mention name, but I talk with other coach or fighters that as soon as I mentioned like a loss or like something that didn't do well, they were just mad. They didn't want to talk about it. And I was like, yeah, it's okay. I'm not a coach, so you don't have to listen to what I said. But I think that's a bad mentality to be like this, because to me, like for example, what you mentioned, about the rankings. To me, the goal is never to be ranked higher; it's to get better. And like for example, Cody Garbrandt, for example, when he lost to TJ 2 times, and they booked him against Pedro Munoz, I was like, why are you doing this? You're giving the guy with the best chin in the division, who's very dangerous, but he's not known. Nobody knew Pedro before that. Like we do, but like the big fans don't know him. And then he fought Asun Sao, and I was like, again.
And was the perfect matchup for Pedro. A brawler with like 2 knockouts, coming from 2 knockouts.
The only way to win against Pedro is to stay away, pick his shot like Al Jody.
Like Sterling.
You can never meet Pedro in the middle. It's too dangerous.
But do you think Sterling won that fight?
I think he did, yeah.
You think he did?
A very close fight, but I said to Pedro, I think he would have won if it was 5 rounds. Because Sterling.
No, this is good. You have to be like sincere, right?
Oh yeah,
you have to be.
And I love
because otherwise, if you just say to not disagree with the guy, your opinion doesn't work, right? You have to say that. You have to say, and I respect that.
And when I say to someone, I always say it with respect. I'm not in the cage, so I have a lot of respect for everyone. It's just what I see. And but actually, Pedro is one of the first one I did an interview with, and he's my favorite bantamweight. So I'm like a big fan of him, and he was super nice. And I think Aljamain fought very well that night when they fought. Like he's very long for the division also. But I think Pedro will do well against like Sandhagen. I think he would beat Sandhagen and he will get back up, But actually, Pedro, he has the same problem as you, is that he struggled. Now he's booked against Frankie. But before that, nobody wanted to fight him because the people that know him, they know he's dangerous. And the others, they don't want to fight him because he's not like popular enough.
That's the problem. That's the problem, because in Brazil, we don't think about like popularity. We don't think about media. So we had a lot of fighters with a lot of fights with like, and this is the worst thing, is because your first 10 or 5 fights doesn't have to be with like really good guys. You have to fight people are starting, because imagine if my first 5 fights, I fight with guys of the same level, like 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, something like that. When I when I start to fighting against like really good competition, I will be like 10-0 or imagine that. But no, I was 5-0 and I compete with the best. So you don't have like lack of experience. And you get in UFC and you are not so popular, and the people, only the fighters and the hardcore fans know you, you know, and it's really hard to book fights, you know, because people don't want to risk against a guy who doesn't have like a really fan base and popularity.
I think the in MMA and UFC, the worst thing that can happen to a fighter is inactivity. It's not losing.
Yeah.
It's just that we don't see them for like, I don't know, 7-8 months. And there's some other guys that show up because there's so many good fighters that people kind of forget. Like, who else? Like, you know, Jorge, when he lost to Wonderboy, then he took the year off. And when he was booked against Steel, Darren Till, people thought he was going to get murdered just because they forgot about what he did before. So people, they have short memories. So, actually, no. But, like, for example, if you fight Jaquinta, Felder, who else is known? Like, maybe like Charles Oliveira, you know, like the guys that are very on top. Everybody will be like, oh, Moicano is the best. No. So, it's changed. But but to be honest, my opinion about your skill set is that, when you said you can be champion in the division, I was like, of course you can be. Of course you can be, because like you're a good anti-wrestler. You can stop people from the takedown. And even the chain wrestling, and on the feet, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of good matchup for you, because you're one of the rare fighter that punch and kick at the same time, or kick after punch and punch after kicking. And unfortunately in MMA, there's too many people banging for single strikes. You know, like just hard punch, but without setup. And earlier we talked about Volkanovski Holloway. And I think, for example, what Max did very well in the rematch is that he picked his shot much better than in the first one. Like in the first one, it was always the same thing, coming very linear strikes. And like here, for example, the first knockdown of the fight against Volkanovski, he like saw the left hook and then saw the right hand and hidden the right kick. That's why he got caught, Volkanovski, because he knew that Volkanovski will try to counter with the check hook. And so he will leave his face open. And I was like, that's what Max need to do, you know, like to not just to try to bully and do the 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. And he did a lot of good things like this in such selections. And actually I wanted to see, maybe it will happen one day. One of my dream fights would be to see you versus Max Holloway, because I think it will be awesome.
Hey, that's fight I have been waiting for, you know. But right now, in 155, you know, I was like planning my career to fight Max Holloway, you know, because I think I have the style to beat him, you know, like the length, and I think it will be good, like kickboxing match, I think. But right now I don't think Max Holloway anymore, you know. Now, hey, my dog, you want to?
Nice.
Agora não, chama ela aí, you know. But right now, like you say, I was thinking too much about the rankings, but right now my main goal is to stay active, like you say, and getting better, you know. And I'm getting better every day in training, but people have to see that progress. So I have to find a fight, and I'm asking for UFC for 3 months. I want to fight. And I think soon. But, you know, with this pandemic, I can understand them. It's not easy to book a fight because I'm here in USA, so I only can fight with American guys or people who are in USA. So it's not that easy to put a fight. I completely understand. But I know they need fights too, so I'm here, you know. I'm here.
I think there's a lot. Oh, what fight? I think, Diego Ferreira, which is an awesome fighter. I love him also.
Yeah.
He's a great, great fighter. Super humble guy, super gentle, and
Yeah.
very underrated fighter. He is very, very good. And
Yeah.
I think he was supposed to fight Drew Dober, but he
Yeah.
got cancelled, and Drew Dober
Yeah.
beat, I forgot, but he beat someone recently.
And was the guy who lost to Cerrone.
Hernandez. Yeah. And so I was wondering if Ferreira was still booked again to fight Drew Dober, but one of these two will be a good fight because they are ranked and they are very good too, most of them.
Yeah, they are very good too. They have like different styles. Dober is more a kickboxer, and Ferreira is a jiu-jitsu player.
Oh, great,
he had like a great victory against Pettis, But maybe, I don't know. I want to see what UFC have to me, but maybe a Pets or a Cerrone will be a good, because like I say, I want to build a brand. I want to build up my name in the lightweight. So, but to be sincere with you, I doesn't care. I don't care. Whoever they put in front of me, I'm gonna fight them, because, like I say, I want to be champion. To be champion, you have to be ready to fight with anyone.
Exactly.
And like I say, if you see I never fight the same. At least I try to be different. If you see the Tony in my first fight and my last fight, I did like the completely opposite. So I think I was caught because I was trying to like repeat the same I did with Kirby. I was trying to jab the people out. I was trying too much, so I focused too much on that on my weapon. So right now I want to be a completely different fighter, and I know I can, because I'm good in all aspects of the game.
Well, I completely agree with you on that. And actually, we have a lot of fans from our site that absolutely love you. I have a friend of mine who's from Australia. His name is Landy. You're his favorite fighter. So he was super hyped when I told him that you asked to do the interview. So now I can tell you there's a lot of people, like the real fans, that really want to see you in action. We often talk about all the good things you do. So there's a lot of people that are looking forward to the fight, and same as me. Doesn't matter the opponent, I will watch anyway. But you have like the skill set, very versatile skill set.
Yeah.
Very, very, like if you put everything together, it will get very far away. So I'm looking forward to it for sure. Just one question before I let you go. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Just can you name a few fighters that you like in the UFC or MMA or boxing that you watch nowadays that you really like?
Nowadays, you don't believe me if I say, but I was watching like a really old boxing fight, like Jack Dempsey and Jack Dempsey and Jack Johnson.
Of course,
The beginning of the boxing, the beginning of the champions, because I think to be a complete fighter, you have to know all the aspects of the game. So I'm starting to do this with all the sports. I'm starting this in boxing, but I'm gonna do in the kickboxing, in the wrestling, because I want to know all the techniques, all the history, because that's what I do, and I want to be the best, and I want to have the
knowledge.
Knowledge, the knowledge. I want to be a totally different fighter. I want to be a complete fighter.
And that's the beauty of sports and history, is that for me, I come from boxing first. Like I used to box when I was younger, and I discovered MMA later, because boxing led me to MMA. So when I start learning boxing, like I think I remember watching Arturo Gatti when I was like 8-10 years old. And then I watched, I don't know, De La Hoya. Then I knew that De La Hoya beat Chavez. So I watched Chavez. And then I knew that Chavez beat like Edwin Rosario. So, it's like you go back in history and like, for example, like I'm sure there's a lot of people that doesn't know who invented the shifting. It was like Fitzsimmons, like an old boxer that started the first thing. And earlier when I talked to you about ring craft, to know where to be in the ring, like the Benny Leonard, who used to be one of the best lightweight, is the one who kind of like the first to duck on the hooks, pivot, and be always where you wanted to be.
And that is crazy, because back in the day, before like Dempsey, boxing was a different sport. They didn't like move the head. They just stand and punch each other like in the movies. And every champion made the sport different, because like Dempsey come and fight like a brawl, and the next guy who controlled Dempsey fight like a more it's more like a sportsmanship way, like putting jabs. And so the sport, he always evolving, but like we are in the end of the sport, so we just see like Lomachenko, and I love to see Lomachenko, but we have to know how they get there, how the sport get here. So I like to do this in all the sports. And but to respond to your question, my favorite fighters, I love to watch Lomachenko, because he is all about technique. That's what I love in Lomachenko, because he don't put power, he don't rush, he just have the perfect timing. I think the guy is smart. He don't get punched. I love watching him. I love to watch Muay Thai fights too. Like I love watching Muay Thai fights too. I like the Yodsen Klai, the way he's fighting, because I like smart fighters. And in MMA, one of my idols was like Anderson Silva and Jose Aldo, because I grew up watching these guys and trying to be like them. That's the thing. My style, I try to adjust like them and to be like them. So, but right now, I really like to watch Adesanya, because, like I say, every champion make the sport his adjustments, and Adesanya is doing that, because the way he fights, he brought like a more I don't know, because he didn't do this too much in kickboxing as he doing in MMA, but he's playing, he move guard, he has his own style, he always moving, and I enjoy watching his fighting. I think, even though I think Paulo Costa gonna beat him with the power, with the power. I think Adesanya I like to watch Adesanya, but I like to watch Volkanovski. I think the perception of him, because we cannot
accuse him. Yeah, being mean to him. You mean because of the scoring?
Yeah, refusing. Yeah, we cannot refuse him because Max Holloway has a huge fan base.
Yeah.
I like to watch him too, but the way
he's been treated,
approach the fight, he's very smart guy.
To me,
did some,
To me, he's probably right now in the UFC. I said it before the fight, so I will repeat. To me, he's probably the best fighter in the UFC for me right now, because he has such a versatile skill set that every fight that he did, like you mentioned, is different.
Yeah.
Like he fought Chad Mendes, and he was
he fought different.
He let Chad guessing at. He knew it would be tough because Chad is an amazing athlete.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
And he's dangerous for like 10 minutes, but then start to gas at, and once he gassed, he turned it around. Then he just shut down Jose Aldo. It wasn't the most entertaining fight, but he completely shut him down.
Yeah, but he did what he's supposed to do.
The goal is to win. For example, as fans, we all love like crazy fighters, that get into goal. But me personally, like Volkanovski all the way too, that's my favorite fight of the year so far, because that's someone who loves to analyze. First, it's very fun because there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
But they are so smart. There's so many adjustments. It's like a chess, like a chess game. There's so many things going on. So So I don't enjoy brawl as much. I love when someone gets hurt and they come back and everything. but I prefer the technical, good fight.
Of course.
And
of course.
Something that people they don't give credit to Volkanovski for, and it annoys me, is that he lost 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
In the match, and then probably won 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
And Max Holloway is known for his cardio. Normally, Max he starts slow and finish super, super strong.
Yeah.
And it means that Volkanovski adjusts correctly and beat him in 1, 3, 4, and 5 when Max is at his best normally. And nobody mentioned that. And
nobody mentioned that. Yeah.
When I rewatched the fight, like Volkanovski jab and understanding of the jab in 1, 3, 4, and 5, there was like, that was great. He's a great, great fighter for sure.
But a fighter who I love to see fighting, Edson Barboza too. I think his style, like he kickboxing style, I think he's so smooth the way he's striking, the land, the kicks. He doesn't seem like doing effort. That's what I love in fight. Like technique. If you have the correct technique, you don't have to use strength. You just have to use the technique, and that's what I love in fight.
For example, Barbosa, as you mentioned, I think he mastered the kick so well that he doesn't waste energy throwing it. He's so good at it. They have such a good balance. He's a great athlete too, and he repeated the move so much that for him, he can do it all day. Where other people, they will gas, throwing so hard, so much.
Yeah.
But he mastered the kick so well. And also what I love about MMA is that you can have specialists, like Damian Maia, for example.
Yeah.
Guys like this that are amazing at one thing.
Yeah.
And good around. So, that's a great sport for sure.
Yeah, great sport. Hey, there is so many great guys. Like Dustin Poirier, I like the way he fight, He has like a tough mentality, and he always say in the interviews coming to the fight, he say, I go deeper than the other guys, and that's why he keep winning the fights, because he has like a great cardio and the right mentality. Man, I love it, the fight against Hooker. I love the fight. Like, man, it's tough to pick one in MMA. It's hard to pick one in boxing, and But kickboxing, I love Buddy Hardy. I like the way he fights.
Yeah.
I like Buddy Hardy's style. But I like Petrosian, George Petrosian. I like Artur Kishenko when he fights in lightweight too, like in 7 kilos. So I have I try to watch fight all the day.
Well, that's good.
No.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
As I'm French, I'm gonna mention a French fighter. If you have time to watch some Cédric Doumbé fight, is very good.
I know the glory champion.
Yeah.
I know. I am not watching Glory so much because, man, I don't know what happened, but I think kickboxing lost his prestige, because K1, I used to watching K1 like, wow, I love the Grand Prix and the stuff is like legendary. And when it comes to Glory, I don't feel the same. Maybe it's because I'm too old now, too old now. And like, I always think about the old fights like Jerome Lebanet and all that, like Glauber Feitosa, Glauber Teixeira, the Brazilians, and all the Peter Arts and that guys.
Rob Kaman, there's so many great kickboxers.
The Bojanski, there is so many, and like the way they fight are different back in the day, because they are like an MMA. Some of them represent karate, some of them represent like kickboxing. We have like Wakao. So right now it's more kickboxing, like all have the same style. I don't know. I don't watch too much.
Well,
but
I know,
but I'm gonna try.
Actually, no, but actually you're right, because the glory rules are a bit different also. That's also a part of it.
Yeah.
And they also use the open scoring, which is kind of like a false good idea, because then a lot of people coast. So every time someone is ahead, it just stay behind the jab, back up. And you know, the site I work for, the fight site we work with. So me, I cover MMA and boxing, but there's like Muay Thai specialist, kickboxing, lightweight, jiu-jitsu. So we cover all type of sport, and the people that work in the kickboxing area, they tell me that even the glory roster isn't very deep. Actually, it's not that. So you're right. Actually, there's like the good champions and a few good contender, but like if you watch a full card, it's not like UFC. You will see like people that are just like 5-2, 6-1. You know, like
because we complain about that, but that's what we love, like the history behind the contenders. You know, I used to love watching like K1, and they show like Pocholle in Thailand kicking pads, or they showing like the Andy Hug on Holland like in big cars, and you like that because you identify with the fighters, and if you have more like contenders and more personalities, you get like more into the like UFC. You know, you have the cowboy, you have that character and personas you can remember, and that make you more into the fight. And the kickboxing, like you say, is like the champions, and we don't know the contenders. So it's not, we don't have so much hype to watch. Just if like is a big fight like Rico, you know, or Buddy Hardy. That's why they try to put Buddy Hardy all the time, you know, because they want to go back that kickboxing era. So it's hard. Like, you know, I think MMA is the best sport in the world because of that, because they put contenders fight against contenders all the time. It's not like in kickboxing, we don't have this. In boxing, it's very hard to put like the good guys against the good guys. You know?
Yeah, in boxing, the problem is that there is too many promotions.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, for example, Terence Crawford, the fact that he's an amazing boxer, is one of the best. But when you watch his resume, he only has like couple good wins, and the rest of it is people that are just good, but not world champion.
Not in the same level. Not the same level. That's why it's good and it's bad, because like almost all the talent is in UFC. So that's why we can see like great fights, like Hooker and Poirier is an example. You know, if they are in another organization, this is a championship fight. But no, it's a top 5 fight. And you have like Kevin Lee and Charles Oliveira, top 10 fight, was amazing fight, but it's just another fight. So UFC did great and put all the hype and all the status on their name. UFC is not like MMA, it's UFC, it's not boxing, you know?
But, yeah, and they do a very good job in this way that, you know, it's easy to get to know the fighters. Because first, if, for example, if I go on UFC Fight Pass and type Renato Moicano, I can see all your fights. Yeah. And I can see like the previews, the teaser they did of your fights. So I'm like, okay, I know.
They build up the history of the fighter.
Like, and you know, and so you can know what type of fighter he is, what is his weakness, his flaws. Yeah. Is he coming back from an injury? Blah blah blah. You know everything. Yeah. Because if you don't know, you're like, who cares who wins if I don't know them? Of course. And I think they already build the stuff. They just keep going. And for example, I don't know. Often we say that with my colleagues, that it's crazy that we get so invested for people we don't really know in real life. Yeah. That as you see them all day on your screen, and you know, for example, you know, like a guy like Dustin, he does so many good things outside of the cage. And he's always, you know, very respectful, very lot of dignity, humble. That you gotta, you know, like, I'm not kidding. You be like, I want to be like that guy, you know, like I need to work on my flaws, and in my everyday life, I need to help people. I need to start, you know, being more like him in this way. And for example, you can also be like, you know, like you have
like
a guy,
Masvidal,
you know,
who's
very,
like
you know, ballsy, who's like game,
different character, like gangster from the street, fighting the streets, but it's because it's real, and you feel it's real, and you feel like, man, this guy is awesome.
I remember when I start watching Masvidal, I liked him first for his style, and then when I get to know like the street fights, who he was, I was like, that man is such a gangster. But it's like real, is very genuine. And I was like, when, for example, when in my life, when I get to face something that I know is going to be like a tough day, I'm like, dude, you gotta be game. So embrace it, and it actually helps. And
of
and
course,
And so when you see guys like, there's a lot of them that are very inspiring. It's always that's why the sport is so great.
That's right.
And talking just about boxing, just to end here. Me, my favorite boxer is Roberto Duran. It's my favorite boxer.
Corny.
Yeah, it was fun that they were together. So I was like, that's my two favorite fighters in each sport. And for example, you mentioned in boxing now, the best don't fight the best, right?
Yeah.
But if you watch the 70s and the 80s,
like
Roberto Duran, he was a lightweight, for years, Duran, and he fought until middleweight. Like he fought guys that were so much bigger than him. And but he did it because they were the best at the time. It was like the division was like awesome. So he said, okay, you know what? I just go up. I don't care. I've been the champ for 10 years. I go up and I will face those guys that will prove that technique, skills can actually match power, everything. And he was also like a special fighter. It was awesome. But what you said about boxing history is very good because, as you say, you can see the style changing, right? Like you will see Jack Dempsey in the balls. And then you will get like Henry Armstrong a bit later. That will only fight on the inside. Then there's like Sugar Ray Robinson, who fights very amazing fight. Exactly, so fast.
I was watching some Sugar Ray Leonard fights. And he was very fast, right? Very fast. Like putting some crazy combos, like 10 punches in a row. Crazy guy.
Actually, Sugar Ray Leonard, he did some stuff that you use sometimes. Is that when he was in the back against the rope, he will just throw flurries, like because he's fast, like a 10 combo just to escape on the side. And when you were against, I think it's against Stevens, at some point you were close to be basically you just throw like a combo, duck under his left hook and turn around. And I was like, even without knowing it, you're doing what the guys do because you end up in similar situations. So I think studying story of combat sport is only like a positive thing, either for fan, fighter, coach, trainer, doesn't matter. I think it's always great.
Yeah, of course. Hey, what is the name of your site?
The name of the site is The Fight Site.
The Fight Site.
I will send you a link.
Yeah, it's in the link. Okay, I'm gonna research some stuff.
There's a lot of article about, like I said, all sport. We also have a YouTube channel that I recommend everyone to check. If you want, I did a video breakdown of Volkanovski's performance against Holloway in the first fight. It's like 10 minutes. If you want to watch it, you could watch it. I would like to have your opinion on it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the time, Renato. It was awesome to meet you. I'm a big fan of you. So good luck for your next fight. And,
thank you so much.
Maybe we can talk before or after your next fight. It will be awesome.
Okay. We'll be
Take care of the little Isaac and Priscilla. Bye. Have a good day. Thank you so much, brother. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. I see you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you.